Lorenzo drove to a remote vineyard, where the lifeless bodies were scattered in horrifying positions on the ground. Just to be safe, he had his child wait in the car. Just moments ago, a retired CIA agent entered the winery and brutally murdered the guards. Upon reaching the basement, Lorenzo found the man subdued by his henchmen. Witnessing this, Lorenzo let down his guard, unaware that their lives were ticking away, only 9 seconds left. Robert picked up his gun and shot Lorenzo twice in the back and head. After getting the key to the vault, Robert only took the pension belonging to his friend, which was the purpose of his visit. At this moment, only Lorenzo's son remained in the vineyard, sitting in the car. Seeing that he was just a child, Robert decided to spare him. However, to his surprise, the boy shot him from behind. Despite this, Robert still couldn't bring himself to deliver the fatal blow. Apparently, the shot almost killed him. A police officer named Gio soon discovered the severely wounded and unconscious Robert. Gio took him to Dr. Enzo's private clinic, where, luckily, the small caliber bullet hadn't hit any vital organs. Under Enzo's careful care, Robert quickly recovered and was able to move after just 3 days. Enzo anticipated that the gunshot was likely connected to the local mafia. To avoid unnecessary trouble, he instructed Gio not to disclose the incident. Later, they met at a restaurant. Gio did not report Robert's case to the police. Gio not only helped him to hide the truth of his injury, but also took care of his car. At night, Robert called the CIA anonymously and told Emma about the drugs found at the winery. The CIA had been surveilling this criminal organization for a long time without a breakthrough. The sudden tip-off might be the break they needed. In reality, the seemingly tranquil coastal town was far from peaceful. A nefarious group frequently dominated the area. The fish market owner, unable to pay protection money, suffered a beating from Marco. The reason for his audacity was his brother, Vincent, the ruthless head of the Mafia. Vincent, known for his brutality, sought to seize a residential building for a hotel. When denied, he callously hanged a disabled elderly person outside the window. At this moment, Emma led her team to the secluded vineyard and indeed discovered a substantial amount of drugs and cash. The vineyard, in reality, served as a mafia transit point, where they smuggled drugs, repackaging them as red wine before distributing them worldwide. Vincent, ambitious and power-hungry, aimed to control the entire coastline of the small town. During his recovery, Robert experienced the kindness and friendliness of the townspeople. He made many new friends, including Amina, who worked at the restaurant. One night, chaos erupted on the streets. The fish market owner's shop was set ablaze, devouring everything his sole means of survival. The arsonist is Vincent's brother, Marco. Determined to seek justice for his new friends, Robert pledged to make the Mafia pay the bloody price for their actions. Gio, gathering evidence from surveillance, prepared to arrest Marco on charges of arson. In the restaurant, Emma found Robert. She has a keen suspicion that Robert is an agent of the CIA and tries to find out if the drug dealers were killed by Robert. Though not receiving a definitive answer, Robert's actions already hinted at the truth. Meanwhile, at the school gate, Gio received a mysterious call. Sensing trouble, as expected, Marco and his henchmen invaded Joe's home, using the lives of his wife and daughter as leverage to warn him against interference. It turns out that there are gangsters in the police station. It's clear that gangsters have infiltrated all walks of life. Like a cancer, the forces of darkness were corroding and destroying the once peaceful town. Gio, receiving treatment at Enzo's clinic, encountered Robert, and upon seeing his injuries, Robert instantly understood the situation. One evening, the joyful atmosphere of Joe's family dinner at the restaurant was abruptly shattered. Marco, arrogant and accompanied by his henchmen, approached Gio, threatening him to work for them. Gio and his family trembled in fear. At that moment Marco felt a chill coming from behind him and found a pair of deathly eyes staring at him. Marco didn't realize the seriousness of the problem. He went up to Robert and provoked him. With calm composure, Robert pressed Marco against the wall. Marco, accustomed to arrogance, couldn't swallow this humiliation and immediately called his henchmen to ambush and kill Robert outside. Yet, their petty scheme was already exposed. A van suddenly sped out, turning one mob member into a pancake. While Marco and his men were still bewildered, Robert's hand wielded a wine bottle, crashing it onto another man's head. Marco realized he'd messed with the wrong person, but it was too late. Robert, swift and efficient, dispatched 3 Mafia members in less than a minute. He then vanished into the night. Early the next morning, the police arrived at the scene and found a large quantity of drugs hidden in the car. Witnessing the gruesome sight of Marco's lifeless body, Gio was acutely aware of who was behind this. Simultaneously, a terror attack occurred at the train station, causing numerous civilian casualties. Emma's investigation revealed a connection to the previous vineyard drug smuggling case. Emma immediately sought out Chief Barella, the local police chief, to interrogate several suspects related to the case. However, Chief Barella attempted to refuse for various reasons. Upon Emma's strong insistence, Chief Barella reluctantly complied. They extracted valuable information from the prisoners and promptly led a special forces raid on a covert drug trafficking den. Chief Barella, colluding with the Mafia, had informed Vincent of the CIA's plans. It turned out Vincent was secretly funding terrorists to orchestrate attacks. In a commanding tone, Chief Barella ordered Vincent to cease immediately. However, Vincent has not yet recovered from the death of his brother, and what is even more ridiculous is that the police have no idea who killed his brother. Faced with Chief Barella, who gave the order, Vincent was so angry that he brutally chopped off Chief Barella's right hand and told him to find the murderer quickly. The news that Chief Barella's hand was chopped off spread quickly. Emma received a call from Robert instructing her to redirect the investigation towards Vincent. Before they could finish their conversation, an explosion occurred. Vincent, driven by a maniacal thirst for revenge, brazenly stormed into the town, shooting and injuring Joe's ear. He demanded the residents surrender the killer of his brother, threatening to make everyone pay if they refused. To prevent unnecessary casualties, Robert voluntarily stepped forward. Vincent raised his gun, preparing to shoot Robert, but a sudden gunshot startled everyone. The shot was fired by none other than the highly respected Dr. Enzo. Simultaneously, the townspeople raised their phones, recording Vincent's criminal acts. With the police on their way, the Mafia had no choice but to slink away. Vincent never could have anticipated that he had just missed his final opportunity, as Robert had already initiated the hunting operation. Under the cover of night, Robert approached Vincent's residence. The guard on duty lost his life before he knew what was going on. Inside the house, the gang members, completely unaware, continued leisurely playing cards. However, as the lights dimmed, one by one, heads rolled. Robert's mastery of stealth and assassination reached its pinnacle. In an instant, blood flowed, dripping down onto Vincent's face through the skylight. Fortunately, Vincent reacted swiftly. A body crashed through the window, falling from above. Clearly flustered, Vincent shouted the names of his henchmen. Now, within the mansion, all of his underlings had already ceased breathing, each in a more gruesome state than the other. Vincent's internal terror reached its peak. He went mad, wildly shooting in all directions. However, lurking in the shadows, Robert knocked him out with a single punch. Vincent, steeped in his heinous deeds, deserved more than a quick death. Taking advantage of Vincent's unconscious state, Robert fed him dozens of pills. Robert intended for Vincent to await the arrival of death in despair and terror. Vincent stumbled out, only to be struck by a car that suddenly sped out as he reached the alley. This marked the definitive end to his life of crime, with Vincent's lifeless body sprawled on the street. His criminal empire was finally uprooted by the authorities. In the hospital, Robert found Emma and asked for her help in returning his friend's retirement fund. Initially motivated by reclaiming the money, Robert had not anticipated that, in the process, he would also rid the beautiful town of a great menace. That concludes the content for this edition. Until next time.